Welcome back as we dive back into the medical discussion that we started before the break concerning lupus. Now, across Africa, stories of chronic illness are often lived quietly behind closed doors through long diagnoses and in the experiences that rarely get spoken about publicly. And I think therein lies the problem. Well, this morning we are joined by lupus warrior Fatima Johnson and Tatum Curry, living with lupus and founder of Africa Chronicles, a digital platform created to share and amplify the lived experiences of people navigating chronic illness across the continent. We live in the era of data and how we can use this information so powerfully if we share it and if we are brave enough to do these things. I thought Willow was going to make me cry, but if you make me cry today, girl, but this is worth crying about, right? This is a very emotionally charged space. Fatima, I'm going to start with you. For 10 years, I understand you've been living with us. What was that moment like? We heard Willow take us through what it was like as an 8-year-old. Very little baggage as an 8-year-old. Once we've grown up, we've got a lot going on there in forming a moment like this. What was that moment like?
So before that time, I would just classify that whole 10 years as my gaslighting era. Because every single symptom that manifested, I would feel like I've been gaslit. I would end up in the ER. I'd get all these bloods and scans done, and it would come back as normal, 100% completely normal. And I'd go home, be discharged, and I'd feel like no one understands me. My body is betraying me. I don't know what to do. I don't know how more to articulate myself. I actually don't know. And it kept coming and
that
getting...
in itself is traumatic. That
100%.
in itself is a traumatic experience.
And I was entering my 30s at the time. So, of course, they would chalk it down to hormonal changes. Then it was all in my head. And then we would try the psychosomatic
And of course the world is very quick to reinforce those sorts of biases
especially with women. When anything is wrong with us, they are quick to diagnose it as psychosomatic, hormonal, all in your head. And then we go down that avenue, treat it in that way, the symptoms persist. And so we try the alternative healing therapy and the symptoms persist. And all this time, no one understands, no one is listening. It's just being cast and mistyped and miscast as something else all the time. And I'm saying, this is happening all the time. It's the same thing. It's a cycle. Can someone listen to me? And eventually, I had enough of all my doctors, and it was about a year ago to this day. I went and I sought a GP, a random GP that knew no history about me or anything blank slate. Exactly. I thought, modern problems require modern solutions. So let's go there. She'd tell her the bare minimum of me, and she'd have to dig deep. And so she did that. And within a month, I was referred to a rheumatologist, and I got my diagnosis. And for the first time, I felt seen, heard, listened to, validated, and not all in my head.
I know, and I'm like congratulating you for getting lupus. But this is the crazy thing. I mean, what a duplicitous, to use a big word, crazy situation. My friend, I mean, don't mince words with me, so I'm hoping you're going to be like that now. So she's been my kind of boss through a lot of the things that I've done on this show. So we have a very close relationship. I can still remember the first day we actually worked together at the pet store, going to take a little miniature Dachshund for his aqua therapy.
Always the animals.
100%. But I can understand the component of compassion that you have now in a very different way. The not knowing, that feels traumatic. For someone whose head spends as much time in the inner spaces, for you, what was that journey like, and the not knowing?
I think at the beginning, my body was trying to speak to me for a long time before I was willing to actually listen.
Wow, that's quite a powerful notion.
We get so used to saying, I'm just tired, or I'm just stressed, or I am being weak. And eventually your body kind of dissociates from what you're trying to actually say.
And believes
and what it's trying to tell you. And there's this video that I actually love. There's this professor that filled a glass with water, and he held it up to his class, and he asked them what the glass weighed. And it wasn't really about the weight of the glass, but about the weight of what you're carrying. And it's so beautiful because you hold on to things, and the longer you hold on to them, the heavier they become. And I think before my diagnosis, I was carrying so much for so long.
Everything got put in there.
Without ever putting a glass down.
Wow.
Yeah. And I think now I've kind of realized that slowing down, listening to yourself, it isn't weakness, it's actually being brave, because often the healing starts when you stop fighting with your body and you give it enough time to actually.
So what, you thought you would just pick up everyone else's glasses then as well and just create a platform where everyone mass trauma load can come?
Has to be.
Why do that then? Based on your own experience, why create the space to connect?
I think it's more than just about illness. I think it's about humanity. I think that there is a huge amount of overlap. I think that a lot of time what ends up happening is that society kind of focuses on what the battles are, that they forget about that person that's behind them.
Yeah.
That person that still has dreams, that still has hopes, that still wants to create
a future.
Exactly, that's exactly it. And the biggest thing for me is to give that a voice, to give that a platform so that those people's voices can be heard. But in the same essence, there's so many people that are going through grief, that are going through trauma, that are going through huge life changes. And if you look carefully, you'll see that there's a very big overlap in that emotion and what those people actually experience and what we experience.
Because you've been living in that.
You live in it all the
all
time.
The time.
And
wow.
It makes it a lot easier to see what other people maybe are dealing with. And even if it's just a space where somebody can come, if they're not ready to share their story, they can come and they feel like they've seen, they heard. If somebody's dealing with stress or turmoil, they can actually go and listen to something and feel inspired.
Breathe out. Just breathe out for a second so they can put the glass down for 5 minutes and then they can pick it up again. Because often we do validate ourselves. And my wife actually, and albeit it's nothing like the journey you were on, but from a pain perspective, she just kicked me in the butt and said, listen, you can either be in pain and fat and lazy and hating your life, or you can be in pain doing the things that bring you joy and get back into the martial arts and do that. And the shift that happened, I'm still in pain, but I have a life that is 100 times bigger. What was the emotional shift that needed to happen for you to embrace life in the way that you are? Because I'm getting a very different energy to the gaslit version of you 10 years ago. You're pumping out a very different vibe right now. What needed to change?
No, for sure. So I am the eldest daughter, A-type, head of family manager.
I have a bigger sister, exactly such.
The elder sister, the cool aunt, the go-to guy. And I had to drop all of those titles, relinquish all of my control issues and my management issues to assume the role of the lupus warrior, which was a hard shift for someone like me. But I realized very early on that this was going to be
and you're still doing it for someone else. So a selfless person can still do this.
For myself, it was going to be my most challenging role to date. Brilliant. And I was going to need all the support I could get. So I was very clear with, my circle, my family, my friends, my co-workers. That girl was gone, and in her place was going to be someone that's delegated, relegated, said no, deprioritized, not my circus, not my monkeys. And once that shift happened, it unlocked such a sense of power and freedom and sense of
almost a why haven't I discovered this regardless. Do you know how many, especially women, but people through maybe this phase of life are listening to what you're saying, God, I want a piece of that.
Yes.
I want a little piece of that. I love the fact that you can validate yourself through this process, which is great. But what has helped you in your individual journey? What helps you the most in this journey? Because you still, as much as you can prop up all these wonderful other things happening around you, you are still living with a compromised system. So what do you need and what do you do that helps you the most?
So I think for me, what changed the most was my relationship with control. So similar to you. And you've got to find something where you can actually get back to who you are. There's this guy, he's like a sunshine soul, literally. His name is the Outdoor Therapist on Instagram. He had this analogy about a GPS, and the whole thing was that when you're driving and you take a wrong turn, the GPS won't criticize you, it doesn't judge you.
Just adapts.
Just recalculates. And I think that's how life works. And I think for me, just because your route changed doesn't mean the destination changed. The only thing that has changed is the road you take to get there. A lot of
the person you were couldn't get there.
Exactly.
You've got to change.
Yeah, and a lot of the most rewarding things I think in my life have come because that road changed. And it's led me to things that now ground me and that give me purpose. A huge part of that is being with horses, working with rescue
I was going
horses.
to say, listen, you can claim some of this victory for yourself, but it's the animals in your life that have done this, girl. Talk to me about the animals in your world.
Yeah, so, the thing with the horse is it teaches you trust, it teaches you resilience, it teaches you compassion, it teaches you consistency. But I also think a huge thing is presence. So a horse is not going to respond to you saying who you are.
Yeah, you got to show up.
It's going to respond to your presence. You can try and lie to a horse all you want. It's going to shut you down faster than Judge Judy. So it's just being with those animals, and I think being them actually teaching you. They teach you a lot.
We went off the map with this, and what you guys are doing is the most positive, wholesome, beautiful process work that anyone can benefit from. And it comes as a very bizarre side note that Lupus comes with this opportunity to radically transform yourself into that person that you want to become. Wish we couldn't or didn't have to go through these trauma gateways to find that strength. But the bottom line is people can help, people connect, the people around you know what to do now, which is amazing. So hopefully we've educated people in those spaces. How do we support and help you do what you do? Can I buy these things?
Yes, so that is with Andrea's gift with the foundation. They do hospital bags and they take them around to the hospitals, and it has necessities for people who need it. So it's just a way of helping. It's incredible. Check out their website.
It's community, and when we say our tribe, this is our tribe. You can look at the screen there for the details on how you can donate. A little, I would imagine, in this space goes a very long way. And I suppose the heartbreaking element here, this is people-driven purpose, but it's a system that we're working within. The system needs to adopt that passion, that purpose, that compassion, because this goes unseen. Unbelievably powerful, powerful notion. And thank you so much to Yuna and Willow, to two of you for joining us this morning. Thank you. This has been absolutely wonderful. Let's hear a little more.
What if we went back to a simpler way of seeing? Before everything needed a filter, a caption, a version that made sense. Back to noticing. The way someone pauses before they answer, like they're choosing which version of the truth to give. The way a smile can look effortless, but feel practiced. The way I'm fine has become a full sentence. We've become so good at reading the surface, but not the story. The truth is, some people wake up every day to a body that is unreliable, rewriting the rules as it goes, a quiet game of Russian roulette. Not will I live, but how will I live today? Will my body carry me, or ask to be carried? Will today be lived, or managed? But this isn't just my story. It's anyone living in a body that changed the rules. The ones who measure their days in energy, not time, who keep going in ways that don't make headlines. You are not hard to understand. The world just needs to look a little closer, to notice a little more. Because strength isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet, like someone picking up a weight no one can see and choosing to carry it anyway.
Oh, sometimes true strength is soft, and it gives us a soft landing, and I love this. So this is what's in the little hospital bag. I love the fact that you are helping people at such a critical gateway with practical things, all sorts of lovely little toiletries and elements, information to read. I love this the most. It's something I use every day, tea tree oil, Lupus. But I would imagine for someone receiving this, it would just be the emotional devotion, obviously very practical and useful in that situation, just 200 Rand. That is the donation, and you will help someone feel connected at a vitally important part of their journey. Thank you so much for being here. Absolutely love the fact that you guys are doing this every day, so hopefully people will respond and support you. I'm going to steal a couple of your sayings today. I just have not my circus, not my monkeys, baby. If you want to plug into that, we'll keep the details of the Andrea Foundation as well. Everything that you can do to help will be appreciated. A little will go a long way, but most importantly, have the conversations. Talk, speak, and just love your pets and love your children and love each other.